Well, hello,
Yo, 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 yo.
individuals. We are
Party
not
people.
going to misgender anyone. I sure as heck will not misgender Keegan.
All the they
But
thems
hello,
out there. How you
yes,
feeling?
hello, fellow individuals of humanity.
They them energy.
Yeah.
Have you seen that clip?
No.
It's just some. I'm not going to be super descriptive, but just think of a person at a pride parade, and you're probably right. But it's a girl, and she is in front of a crowd. And it's just like someone's playing drums behind her, and she's on a stage. She's like, they, them, energy. And then she puts it out to them, like, they, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. And then they scream it, and then she just goes, and then just like, it's over. And I was just like, wow.
Jeez.
If impactful moments of the 21st century.
Do you think the Vikings were shouting that as they were coming out of forests, like guerrilla warfare style against the Romans back in the day? Do you think they were shouting that to get like psyched up and all that before going
Did
into
the
battle?
Vikings fight the Romans?
Or the
Listen, man.
I mean,
don't be doing that. You can't be doing that. They might have. I don't even know. We didn't even think about this topic.
Pretty sure they did. Because look at
sure
look at Gladiator. Yeah, Gladiator.
What? He wasn't a
The
Viking?
movie They fought Vikings in the opening scene.
No, that's just all fake. The Vikings did not fight the Romans. It's a fact right here. Timeline mismatch.
Then who the heck did the guys in the movie Gladiator? Who did the Romans fight?
Those were they were fighting the Gauls.
Which?
No, it's not Vikings at all. Like not even close. The Gauls or the gosh, they were just I think they were the Gauls.
Because there's the Saxons, the Gauls.
No. The Saxons are a completely different thing. The Saxons.
No, I know. I'm saying like they were all different sects. Some Vikings were different.
Saxons were just from England.
Correct.
Yeah, Gauls. I believe Gauls were the essentially tribal people of the native land that the Romans would go into and conquer. And it was, gosh, what is his name? What is the guy who fought the Roman emperor and was Hannibal? Hannibal was one of their major leaders. Yes, he actually did it from the jail cell. But no, it was Hannibal, and he was the one who gave the Romans a real run for their money. And I don't know who was he king of. I think it was the Gauls. Hold on.
Carthage. It was Carthage, the Carthaginians.
Okay. Wartime. Let me see. Hannibal's role.
Carthage.
Yeah, he was he's just a general. He's a famous military leader, but did the Romans fight the Gauls? Yeah, the Romans absolutely fought the Gauls, is what it first says. So let's just let that sink in for 1 second.
And Carthage. Can't forget them.
The Gauls were Celtic tribes. Yeah, yes, I knew it. You know where I got this from? Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. Shout out Dan Carlin, one of the best history podcasts, most detailed history podcasts, citing all of his sources, history podcasts, vividly storytelling history podcasts that you can ever listen to. And it is just, if you're looking for 5-6 straight hours of a podcast about one specific topic, like the Roman Empire, or the World War II, or he has so many topics. It's so cool. But yeah, the Gauls were Celtic tribes that live in what is now modern day France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, and parts of Italy and Germany.
It's actually Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, yeah.
Luxembourg Viking, yeah.
Okay, we're about to take a Viking.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to see the distinction as time has gone on. The aspect of what people fight for, and now we're in today's time fighting for changing genders because I feel a different way.
Hey.
That's just it's a little bit out there. Just saying.
That is an important fight. And if you don't fight for it, you're against it. And if you're against it, Guess what? You're pretty safe because most of them are pretty weak.
Just like Anakin said in Revenge of the Sith
They
to
do have
Obi-Wan.
some. What do you say?
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Right?
Yep.
They do have some berserkers, though, without a doubt. There's some of them that are just full-grown men, strapping, massive men that have just been like one day, like, I'm gonna be a girl, and that's like their trolls. Like you remember in Lord of the Rings, the really big guys that would like run through the walls and stuff, or they would ride on.
Yep.
That would be the equivalent if we had a war.
Is there estrogen treatment that we can take?
Oh
My
man,
gosh.
good times.
We can digress on that one. But as I was saying, the German-ish accent that was Luxembourg, but that wasn't really. My mind made a connection to Germany. And we were talking about this yesterday that good old Kanye West is back on the map for
Oh,
something totally
Kanye
different.
dropping
Something
dropping
totally
new
different.
tunes, dropping new tunes.
It was a new solo, right?
I believe the song goes something like it's if I'm not mistaken,
Do you want to
it
look up the
sounds like Fail Hitler, I think is the main chorus or the name of the song. No, but everybody just hold on to your seats for 1 second. He actually made a song called Heil Hitler. That might right there just, get us completely screwed, but that is what the song is called.
We
We're
didn't
just
say it.
reporting on this, and
Yes.
we did not make any hand motions while saying that.
No,
Chase did.
I did not. That's why you got to tune in and watch the video. Prove him wrong.
You really do.
I'm looking
Look
him
at the
up on
people that are just
Spotify.
listening on audio. They're like, did he?
He's like, wait a minute. Hold on. So I'm looking up on Spotify. I'm presuming they took the song down because I am not seeing it.
I heard about this song yesterday, and I called Chase immediately and gave him the news of what had happened. And I was going to laugh so hard if I went to Spotify and it was streaming like 13 million streams or something like that.
Dude. Yeah, that's I'm sure that's a little something that no streaming service wants to touch. Just to see out of pure play count. Because people would obviously check it out of pure curiosity.
Yeah.
So just like, did he seriously do this? Is this actually what the song title is about? Or is this a total something different that is just a crazy, crazy hook?
No.
But yeah, I'm not seeing it on Spotify.
I doubt. It's probably on Apple Music.
Apple's more progressive.
It's artistic expression.
Oh my gosh. Legitimately, I the only thing I can find on it.
Oh, I love it.
This was posted No,
I don't love the song. I'm clarifying. I love laughing at things like this. That was a bad place to input. I love it.
So Kanye West pro Hitler song gets millions of views on X. Posted. I'm not even kidding. Evidently.
Wow. Oh my gosh. What a time to be alive.
Gatekeepers Are Dead. Kanye West's anti-Semitic song. So was this a whole album that he released?
Maybe. But if he did, one of them is definitely called Heil Hitler, which is
that's wild.
That's wild. We live in a crazy time.
I wonder. So it's an interesting thing that ever since Elon purchased Twitter, rebranded as X, it's all about free speech, all this stuff, like open the floodgates, all this stuff. But I wonder how much tolerance there is around that song with Kanye posting it on X.
You know what? Here, I have a problem. You want me to talk about it? I'm going to talk about it.
Talk about it.
I'm going to talk about it.
Talk about it.
I'm going to do it.
Do it.
Here we go.
Dude, here it is. Oh my gosh.
I was going to talk about it.
Talk about it. because I see a music video. There's a music video.
Yeah, I knew, and they have fox faces on, which is even better.
What the
But
heck? This is the sequel to What Does the Fox Say?
what does the fox say to Heil Hitler? The
Jeez.
fox says, "Get." Oh man,
Golly. We
I
can't
can't.
even go down this road because it just feels weird saying it.
The
But
jokes
just
are
the
going to be
fact, yeah.
horrible.
Oh, it's ridiculous. In no way do we condone this, audience. For those that are listening, we're just as flabbergasted as you guys are that Kanye released a song with that title.
I was
I mean,
surprised he released a song in general, and then when you see the name, you're just like, oh, now I'm double surprised. I'm as
yeah,
surprised as one can be. But I was gonna say, before we go on with this, I was gonna say this is why. And I'm going to quote the great Joe Rogan here, which I also want to bring up. We're going to talk about it in a second. You know what we're going to talk about in regards to Joe Rogan. But there was a time in America where there was I believe it was a Nazi parade, or not a Nazi, but synonymous with the same thing, a Ku Klux Klan parade, or it was a Nazi thing. I believe it might have been a Nazi thing. It might have been publications or something of the sort. I forget what it was, but it was in the 60s, I believe, or sometime in between now and World War II. And they had Jewish lawyers fighting for these Nazis' rights to freedom of speech, to be able to espouse their Nazi whatever it was in whichever way they were doing it, because they valued freedom of speech so much that they thought it was so important to protect that and for people to be allowed to say whatever they want to say, regardless of how it makes you feel, that Jewish lawyers defended Nazis' rights to speak freely and say their own beliefs. Now, do I agree with anything Nazis do? No. But in terms of like, it's horrible what comes out of some people's mouths, and you don't have to agree with it. And like, there's some grotesque things that people can say, and this is top 3 on that list probably of anything you could do. But I will never ever support not allowing people to say whatever it is they want to say, no matter what.
yeah. Well, and I mean that's been the whole debate,
Or believe whatever they want to believe and talk about it.
Right. Well, and that's what we've seen, the war on the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Like, some people are like, does that really mean you can say anything you want to, no matter what it is? Or, are there certain aspects that you just don't touch with a 10-foot pole? And that's where the line in the sand is drawn. And it's interesting to see, I don't know, just the honest war that's happened over the last, I would argue, 10 years, since Trump's first term as president. I mean, it's just blown up into a full-scale war among many other things. So, yeah, I mean, it's First Amendment, and it's curious to see people's perspectives on where they draw the line, I guess.
Yeah.
As to what defines freedom of speech.
Defended Nazis war. Blue.
And while you're looking that up,
members, freedom of
while you're Googling that, I was scrolling through some more Kanye West
Make sure
stuff.
I'm not lying and making a gosh dang fool out of myself, but I'm pretty sure that's how I lead with facts. Pretty sure is good enough.
Yes.
Oh wait. Yeah, I was right, but it wasn't Nazis. It was Ku Klux Klan, like I said earlier. So, I think that is defending the right to speak is not the same as defending what they say. Jewish lawyers, some of whom were children of Holocaust survivors or refugees themselves, sometimes took these cases out of deep commitment to civil liberties, believing that once speech is censored for one group, it could be censored for all. Bam. That right there. And I guess there was notable examples. The Skokie case, 1977-78. Background, a neo-Nazi group planned to march. Yep, I was right the first time. Planned to march in Skokie, Illinois, a suburb with a large population of Holocaust survivors. Wow. They tried to block the march using local ordinances. Legal defense, the ACLU, led in part by Jewish lawyers like David Goldberger, Jewish name, defended the Nazis. Yeah, defended the Nazis. Oh my gosh, I was right the whole time.
Look at that. First
Defended the
time.
Nazis' First Amendment right to free speech and assembly. Why it mattered, Goldenberger himself was a Jewish and received death threats and public outrage for defending their right to march. His stance, if the First Amendment won't protect them, it won't protect anyone. Come on.
Yep.
That's the America that I want to live in. Not with a bunch of Nazis. That's not what I'm saying. But the America that is, do not misconstrue that or clip this. The America I want to live in is the America where free speech is protected to the nth degree, even by people who would disagree completely with anything that you say.
As well as the Second Amendment.
And the Second Amendment. So you can also shoot that person.
That's America right there.
There you have it. Two
of the most important amendments, arguably, in the entire world.
You know what I was watching earlier today?
Hold on real quick before we get off this topic. I was scrolling through some more Kanye West stuff on X. And that song, most recent release, is evidently a hit in Thailand. And there's a 2-minute long video of people at a club, bar, that evidently this song is playing. And everyone starts doing the salute.
Wow.
Just like, needless to say, I don't think people in Thailand, not saying they don't know what it is, but realistically,
I mean, if they're doing the salute along with it, then they definitely know what it is.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. For those individuals that are curious and don't believe me, go look it up on X, because
maybe they're just inherently racist, because there's a lot of, like if you go to China or if you go to, they're kind of one of the things we were going to talk about today, South Africa. If you go to these places, there's a lot of racism when where one ethnicity dominates. Like Tosh.0 once said, or Daniel Tosh, which is, I watch his podcast sometimes. It's actually quite hilarious. But he said one time, the American Olympics gymnastic team was criticized for not being diverse enough. And he goes, can you guess who's on the Chinese team? You got it. Strictly Chinese.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And it's funny though, because no other country like hyper fixates on these things like we do.
Yeah, 100%. One, the only reason it's become, I don't say the only reason it's become a thing, but it's become, I don't know, it feels like the agenda that's been trying to be pushed within the last 12 years, especially, I think it really came to be a thing, or at least started around Obama's second term.
Yeah.
Where the need for change has to happen. Like that was the whole ploy that Obama ran on, change, right? And that's where the whole narrative of like, you're this race, then you deserve more. You're this, then you deserve more. And certain aspects of culture started to get more precedence, more attention, more elevation above other aspects or other parts of culture or other cultures, to where it's just become a whole thing that we see today, where that has become so ingrained in some people that, yes, it's become their identity. That's what, they base everything off of. And instead of getting rid of, in my opinion, racism or, whatever it might be, you're seeing basically a reversal in a sense of more attention being drawn to individuals because of their color.
100%.
We're not moving further away from it. We're moving closer to it.
Oh, 100%.
By policies that have been put in place and ideologies.
We're going way close. Yeah. I mean, it's like the same thing as saying, hey, don't think of an elephant. It's the first thing you just thought of, an elephant. So the more you address something, the more you're consistently referencing it, the more you're making it a backbone of situations or a crux of anything, you are where it doesn't naturally belong, where it just doesn't have to be like the focal point of something. The more you do that, the more you give that thing life. And it's like they say, the more you think about something really, really bad, or if you're really scared of something. I remember the story of this girl, and she spent her whole life worrying that she was going to die of breast cancer. You know what happened? She died of breast cancer.
Hmm.
I believe it's a true story too. Like, she was deathly afraid of it, was like constantly thinking about it for most of her life, and it ended up happening. And it's like, your thoughts do have the ability to tangibly affect what happens around you. And the more you dedicate energy towards something, the more that thing, again, is just going to have the life to sustain itself and to evolve and to grow and be harder to get rid of in general. So I don't even see race. I'm colorblind. Legitimately, I'm not allowed to drive because I can't tell whether it's red, green, or yellow. I
It's
just
actually
see
purple.
gray, a little bit different of a gray, and then a slightly different gray. But I go when I feel safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mostly when other cars decide to go.
And then I see people, and everyone's just gray to me, and it's better.
Yep.
But
When it
what I
comes
was
to
going to say
white collar,
earlier, go on.
I was going to say, like, when it comes to different aspects of work, like white collar, blue collar, I'm colorblind.
Oh, got him. Anyways, if you steal that joke, we will come after you. You're
Yes.
not getting away from us. I was
Heard
going
it
to
here
say
first.
earlier, I was watching a video of this liberal kid. He's got blonde curly hair. I forget what his name is, but he is like, he's done like, have you seen those clips where it's like one MAGA supporter against like 20 liberals? Yeah, he's done that, where he's been one liberal against 20 MAGA supporters. And he's this kid who just talks really fast, and he just like says point, like, it's I hope he hears this podcast. It's insanely annoying. And he made this point where he's talking about Trump supporters, and he was like, you know, okay, he's like, so tell me this, are you pro-Constitution? The guy's like, yeah, I'm pro-Constitution. And he's like, okay, so what if I told you that Donald Trump called for complete eradication of parts of the Constitution? And then you're like, oh, no, he was like, wouldn't you say that it would be anti-American for someone to be against the Constitution? And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, so as soon as you ask him this, all of a sudden they're caught in the spot where they're supporting someone who is called for eradication of parties, who is not pro Constitution, and they call themselves for America, and they just look so stupid. And I'm just like, okay, wait, hold on one second. How many parts of the Constitution have been completely eradicated due to amendments? Let's dive in. 4 of them, to be specific. So by that standard, by being pro-Constitution and calling for any part of the Constitution to be eradicated, being a non-American, guess what would still be around? Slavery. What? That's crazy. The 13th Amendment was completely eradicated, or the 13th Amendment completely abolished or nullified multiple clauses, eradicating them from the Constitution that allowed slavery, including the Three-Fifths Compromise. The 14th Amendment overturned Dred Scott and redefined citizenship and equal protection, completely eradicating a part of the Constitution. The 16th Amendment overturned a Supreme Court ruling to allow income taxes. Wish that one never happened, but completely eradicated part of the Constitution. And the 21st Amendment repealed prohibition by nullifying the 18th Amendment, completely eradicating part of the Constitution.
The ban of alcohol.
So, and then I commented on that post and I said, all of these have been completely eradicated parts of the Constitution, because that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to look at it and evolve with the backbone of what the Constitution stands for. We did not need to keep slavery in the Constitution or the Three-Fifths Compromise because it was always there, and we should just be a fan of the Constitution no matter what.
Yep.
So
that and Amendment 21, one of the most important.
That is probably the only reason I'm able to be sane these days. I remember that bar in.
I do. That's why I said
Weatherford. Abilene.
We got a story around Amendment 21.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we'll tell that sometime. I don't think we've told that story on our podcast
I
yet.
really like to get out what we want to say about it first because,
Yes.
I mean, there's one part that's just like an easy tell. We can just tell real quick.
I say if we're gonna do it, we need to tell the full story.
Yeah. Chase got a
We'll save
concussion
that. Yeah, I did, and we'll leave it at that.
because I kicked him in the face.
And I deflected it so hard that the force
With
going
his
forward
face.
pushed me backwards.
I deflected it with my face so hard.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was just that lined up too well. But no, I did not
We'll
kick
tell that
Chase in the
story on
face.
a maybe future special episode.
A future special episode.
Special one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy times, crazy things happening. I'm talking while I'm yawning. For those of you that don't
Can't be
know,
doing that.
audience, we are recording this on a Thursday night.
Don't put it on them.
So-
Don't put it on them.
No, I'm saying just for their reference, we're not at our peak mental aptitude right now because it's a Thursday night. And we're not allowed to do it on Saturdays anymore.
I got the Friday, the Friday Friskies. Ooh, that's a good one. The Friday Friskies.
The pre-Friday Friskies?
No, the Friday Friskies, like the Monday Scaries. What are they called?
Or the Sunday Blues?
Yeah.
But that's actually on the day. It's Sunday Scaries.
Sunday Scaries. Yeah. So I guess I'm still Friday
Or
Friskies.
Monday Blues, Sunday Scaries.
You got the pre-Friday Friskies. Fine. I'll give you that. You can
the PFF.
You can co-sign it with me.
No, I'm good. That's fine. That's fine.
Whatever, brother.
Yeah, you know what? We're talking about some pretty outlandish stuff. And one thing that might top the charts is one specific super recent incident that happened in Buga, Colombia.
Oh.
That took place on March 2nd of this year. What?
There's some things I do and forget that we're on our podcast. I'm like,
yeah,
weird.
We
do that all the time.
Pure authentic version of us, audience.
I mean, it's like it's 98%. There's 2% tapered.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would definitely say that.
On March 2nd, 2025, in the Alto Bonito neighborhood.
Alto Bonito. That means beautiful sky or beautiful sky, I believe.
Look at you.
Or high beautiful. Alto. Alto is cloud, beautiful sky, something like that. Anyways, any of those Spanish speakers out there in the other countries, please comment and tell us what it means and make me look stupid. But it's Alto Bonito. High beautiful. Like up in the air, high, Alto. Because I remember my ex-girlfriend from Argentina would say Alto Santos, I believe, and it was like a slang for it was like a slang term for like cool shoes. It was like high shoes. Those are some high shoes right there. But anyways, I digress. Go back.
So yeah, the whole reason I brought this up is to talk about what you just talked about. Yeah. The rest of it's not important now because I was just so curious about Alto Bonito.
Bonito is beautiful. Bonita.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is too.
Nope.
Okay, whatever, brother.
But two witnesses identified as Maria and Jose independently recorded videos of a luminous metallic sphere moving erratically in the sky. The object, described as roughly the size of a beach ball, exhibited unusual flight patterns, including zigzagging and glowing with various colors, which ultimately defied conventional aircraft or drone behavior. After reportedly striking high voltage power lines, the sphere made a controlled descent and was recovered by Jose in a grassy area or nearby woods, which is really interesting. So it struck high voltage power lines and it still controlled its descent down to the ground.
But it descended is the main part, meaning that the electricity definitely did something to it. So that is interesting.
But still in a controlled manner.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like a jet with one engine landing. You can still land a jet with one engine, but it's just not going to be able to perform like it can. So it essentially got a bad concussion, had to sit down, and we picked it up.
Face.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now,
but
go on.
Nope. I was going to say something, but go ahead. That's
I
fine.
was gonna say now this thing, like, what? Think about if they were just sitting there examining it, and all of a sudden it turned back on and just like shot out, just like broke everything in front of it, or just like nullified everyone and just like made them like all of a sudden pass out or something like that. Like that is,
Yeah.
it says that they conducted X-ray analysis, revealing that the sphere contains multiple dense materials, suggesting it's not biological in nature. While some speculate about extraterrestrial origins, others believe it may be industrial debris. That's stupid. It's definitely not industrial debris.
Well, I mean, just going further on the X-ray of the structure, X-ray analysis, which was conducted by a team of radiologists, revealed the sphere consists of 3 layers of metal-like material, with the outer layer having a density close to human bone, possibly made of titanium or steel. They're not quite sure. But it also contains 18 microspheres surrounding a central nucleus referred to as a, quote, chip, with no visible welds or joints, suggesting advanced manufacturing. No kidding. Symbols resembling ancient scripts, i.e., runes, Ogham, or Mesopotamian cuneiform, were observed on its surface, with one interpretation suggesting they translate to a cryptic phrase about birth, union, and consciousness. That's interesting.
Wow.
So on this sphere, audience, I mean, they're finding these ancient type symbols, or not ancient symbols, but symbols reflecting or resembling ancient script. And they can't explain how it's made. It's some sort of advanced manufacturing, i.e., we don't know how the heck it was built because there's no joints, no welds, no nothing, no bolts holding the thing together. And 18 microspheres surrounding a central nucleus. So you're talking, God, I don't even know. I mean, think about that. Density close to the human bone, which is insanely hard. Micro layers surrounding just a nucleus of a chip. No visible welds or joints,
What is
and
the
you have
human bone?
rune symbols all over. The density.
What
They
about
said
it?
the actual sphere consists of 3 layers of metal-like material. They don't know if it's titanium, steel, or something else, but they're describing it as the outer layer having the density close to human bone.
Meaning what?
I'm not going to say it. You'd lead me into something. I'm not going to say it. Thought you'd get me
Oh,
on that one. Nope. Nope.
but I mean, it's one of the. You remember when Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, "Why are the pictures always so grainy?" I'm like, "All right, we got one. Can you comment on it now,
Yeah.
scientists? Can you take it
Yeah.
seriously now?"
Yep.
Like, my gosh, man.
Um, yeah, no, I'd be curious. And it's one of those things like having this in our possession now.
It's not
I
ours.
wonder if, well, I mean, in humanities,
Yeah,
you know, for a fact, we're going to get a hold of that. There's no way we're going to let Columbia keep that.
we're not going to get a hold of it because we already
U.S.,
have them. We already have them. We don't want it. We know
well, we
exactly
might
what it
take
is.
even better. But all the more reason, maybe that's what we need for another country of sorts to get one of these things. Maybe they'll be more transparent than we are.
Yeah, I hope so.
But
It'd be
evidently,
hard to see them though,
yeah.
because they'd be transparent. Anyways, I
Ha,
take tips.
ha,
Keep
ha,
going.
ha. Regarding the appearance and weight, the sphere. Wow, I'm going to cut that one out. Jeez. So the sphere was described as a solid metallic object with a polished surface, weighing approximately 4.5 pounds when first recovered. That's an interesting nugget of information when first recovered. However, its weight reportedly increased to 10 kilograms when placed on a calibrated scale in a
Why'd they
lab
do that?
and measured later at 6 kilograms during a live interview, suggesting variable mass. It was noted to be refrigerator cold to the touch and allegedly caused water to vaporize instantly when poured on it, producing smoke.
Refrigerator cold and caused water to vaporize, and they went from pounds to kilograms, is what I'm upset about. They were like 4.5 pounds.
Well,
Anyways, now it's kilograms. Or
well,
was
yeah.
that you?
Either way, it was 2 kilograms, i.e., 4.4 pounds. So if it goes up to 10 and then back to 6, you can kind of guesstimate.
Why are you
But
making people do math?
WTF is a kilogram, dog.
Honestly, we need to get to
I
the one.
love those shirts.
WTF is a kilogram.
But just the idea of it being able to change mass. How does that happen? I
Anti-gravity.
mean, if
Because
well, if
gravity
yeah,
has everything to do with mass.
yep. So
Mass, I mean,
obviously
gravity or mass is just the drag of the force field that we are, of the field that we, it's the Higgs boson particle was essentially saying that there is a field that creates some type of drag on atoms, which is what gives them their mass, and gravity essentially the ability to detect them.
so would you
Actually,
argue that that
no. Actually, no, it does. It gives gravity the ability to detect them because they have mass, but gravity affects all mass the same no matter what.
yes.
Yeah.
But the idea of that center nucleus that is referred to as a chip, I wonder if that's referring to an anti-gravity reactor.
I mean, AGR
Yep.
and Agar.
Yep. That's just crazy. But what's interesting, going into further analysis, evidently the sphere was handed over to a German magnetic detection company for analysis. And then it was later given to Mexican ufologist
That's what I.
Jaime Mawson.
That's the only thing that I'm just like. It's kind of like the bodies, the alien bodies. I'm like, okay, if it is something like that, the government is going to keep possession of it. They're not going to give it to a ufologist. They're not going to go, all right, let's call in our foremost expert on UFOs that has no credentials we care about, and let's let everyone know. That's the only part that sketches me out. If a ufologist can get his hands on it that quickly, then the government is not acting as I think they would, in terms of like that being something that is of high priority. But
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't, because I do believe a lot of governments have these things, but maybe it wasn't any governments. Maybe this was a legit one. Peace, consciousness, and unity. Unity. What was it? Union,
Um,
consciousness, and what?
birth, union, and consciousness. What if it's like the dawn of a new age and we're going to have a union or an agreement, an accord with these individuals for further
Maybe that's them
consciousness?
just dropping that. They're like, oh crap, we ran into a power line. We're millions of years advanced, but we can't see power lines. Dang it. Oh,
Well,
we're
it's
going to
like that.
drop this right here just so someone might pick it up and look at it. Dang it, we lost it. Here's a message about
Shoot.
something that's about to happen.
But maybe not
Anyways,
really. Maybe it's just a joke. It's like War of the Worlds. My mind went to War of the Worlds, where it's
great
like
movie.
aliens invade. Oh, fantastic movie or show.
They made a show out
But
of it.
yeah, I forgot what channel it was on. But the idea of aliens invading Earth and the one thing, our advanced weaponry, all the stuff, we can't do anything to take these, you know, units down, these aliens, their ships, their hardware, but it's water. Is it
No, that
water? Is it
wasn't.
air? It's air. It's air.
No, you were
They were
thinking
allergic
of
to our air.
Signs. You were thinking of.
No,
I mean, at
that
least for the water.
signs was water, but War of the
What
Worlds was air.
Signs? If you think about it, Signs was one of the dumbest movies ever made. You're telling me a race that is completely destroyed by water goes to a planet that's 70% water?
Maybe they didn't know that they were allergic or that they were, could be decimated by water.
But you would
Who
think
knows?
they'd be like, what's this foreign substance that we've never seen on this planet? Let's go invade real quick and just, who knows, don't fall in. And then it's
Yep.
just like, it's like, all right, I guess firefighters became like the new hero, like our Navy SEALs at the time.
Yep.
Freaking squirt, what is it? Nerf squirt guns were probably a good weapon.
Yep.
Just go
Cheap.
do some damage.
Real quick. So, H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, the Martian invaders die primarily because they are exposed to Earth's terrestrial bacteria and pathogens.
Hmm. So not necessarily oxygen.
No. But I guess everything floating around in the air, anything that we could be prone to um, being resistant of, they're just like, no, no.
Don't do it. We're sorry. Jeez, we thought you were
We,
not gonna like fight back, and now you're doing it.
we definitely come in peace now.
Oh
But
no.
I really hope something comes of this fear and that we truly do learn more. Because I am so sick of hearing about all these instances and all these testimonies and, oh, this is what we've recovered. We have 10 of these craft in our possession. But yet nothing ever comes out. I'm just like, at what point will we actually learn something?
Like, at what point are they just gonna freaking show up? You know, like, at
Yeah,
what point are they just gonna like be like, "Hey, we're here," and we've pretty much been hinting at it for the past 6 years, and before then. But go ahead and get used to the idea,
yeah.
dude. Still nothing.
Still nothing.
Still nothing.
Didn't even read it.
Didn't even read it.
Do you want to give some background as to what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, do I? This is my life. I go out on 2 really good dates with people, and then it goes bad. I don't know why. And guess what? The second date always ends freaking awesome. It went awesome. Everything went super cool. We kissed when we left. It was a great time. Blah 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 blah. Everything is good. And then it's just,
Silence.
at least for this one, you know. And it's like you don't want to be a little vulnerable with you guys right here. You don't want to be. You never want to be the one chasing someone, but it's almost like you can't help it when you are like, dang, this person is like what I was looking for, and they actually like me. I don't think I'm like unlikable, but it's just like, it just seems no matter who you are, the people that you chase after, or not even chase after, that you initially get that feeling of like, dang, this is it. Not maybe not even it, but like this close to it. This could definitely be it. It has a lot more likelihood than the last one or last anytime, and you get so excited, and you get sometimes overexcited, and you probably overdo it, or you overthink it. And it's just one of those things where it's sometimes it takes someone else on the other side overthinking it as well because they think that much about you. But and it seems that way at first. It always seems that way. And then all of a sudden things change. The energy changes. And you
Yeah.
can definitely sense it. Freaking,
It's like the force.
it
You
is
sense a
definitely the
disturbance.
force. It's quantum, it's temporary quantum entanglement. And when that person breaks that reciprocation, you all of a sudden just fall into this version of yourself where you're constantly worried about the dumbest stuff, and you're overthinking everything, and you're just like,
Yeah.
and then you look back at it whenever it's over and whenever it's done and gone, you're like, why did I even care that much? And it's like you just genuinely really like that person, and you genuinely wanted to
Yeah.
see where it went, regardless of the things, the mishaps that would happen in between the time you met and whenever you figured it out. So
Yeah.
what I was saying to Chase is that that is happening with me right now, and Chase knows about all my situations with women and men. Throw the. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But no, not. I don't have anything against anyone that's gay. I'm just not gay. Got it in there. But
Nah, that's
yeah,
one
so
of
I
Keegan's
told him
sayings.
like, had not like, it's just one of those things where like she left my place, we had hung out, and it was great. Everything was awesome. We exchanged a couple text messages. I don't like to talk all day, no big deal. And then all of a sudden, just for no reason, out of nowhere, radio silence. And it's just like, crap. Now I just don't know what to like. You just sit there and you're just like, I want to say something, but I don't want to be the person chasing
What did I
someone.
do?
Well,
Yep.
like what? Like I don't even want to ask what I did. I want to know what I did, obviously, but I just want to be like, hey, does is is this? Did I miss something? Like I thought this ended on great terms last time we spoke, And all of a sudden, like, I bought into it too much. We hadn't talked in over 24 hours, and I just said, "Hey, didn't want to let a whole day go by. Didn't want to let the whole day go by without saying, hey, I hope you had a good day. Just something very light, non-committal. Don't even have to necessarily say anything. You just say, I hope you have a good day back." That was like 3 hours ago. Hasn't even opened it. Listen, there's so many, like, that's the problem. You just start overthinking the dumbest stuff. And like, I am fully expecting within the next few days, or most likely tomorrow, to get the message of thanks, but no thanks. And it's just like, and you know what the craziest thing is?
Yep.
If this happens, I spent like 20 minutes telling her how sick I was of that happening the last time we saw each other. I'm not kidding. She was about to say kind of like the same thing to me. I was like, is it something like this? Because she was having trouble getting her words. I was like, every time you get excited about something, it just seems to all of a sudden the rug is pulled out from under your feet. It goes just it's complete 180. And then you're just left in this position thinking, what did I do wrong? Is it something about me? Like, or just, you're just all, it's just like when the 180 is pulled, you're just like, I didn't see that coming, even though like it's happened before. And I spent like 15 minutes sitting there talking about that. And then like she was like, truth bombs. I completely agree, and all this stuff. And then never responded to my text message.
That truth bomb went a little too personal.
I maybe I just scared her off by like, I mean, I probably put too much pressure on it. I don't know. If anyone wants to, see what it's like to, I'll use this podcast to get a wife. If anyone wants to take a test trial with dating me, just
it's
reach
a free
out to the
30-day
podcast.
trial period.
Completely funded by me. Always completely funded by me. But yeah,
or your money back.
Good times. Or no, it's
or not money back.
No money back whatsoever. I pay for everything. You take it, and then at the end of that, you just decide whether or not,
you decide.
You decide. I'm not a part of this decision. But yeah.
Yep. True. That's just, you're just there. You're just there. You gotta love it. You just gotta love it. I've just hit a point in life, generally speaking, where I care for the right reasons, but I feel like I've grown a lot in a sense of I don't play the game. Like, of course, we all fall into the game of like, oh, should I say this? Should I not say this? I'm like, I don't care. If I want to say it, I'm going to. And
get out of here.
It's just like, either way.
Get out of here.
What?
It happens.
What?
I could literally name the last time this happened, and it's just one of those things where it's like when you actually are excited about something, then is when the nervousness comes in, and you're like, I don't want to lose this, so you hyperanalyze certain steps. It's not even a thing you can control, because you can to a certain extent, but it always gets to a point, especially in those early stages, if you really like someone, to where you are just looking at everything a little bit too much, and you can draw back, and we've both gotten way better about that. But I think we both still fall into that at least a little bit, 100%, especially when
that's
we really
what I'm
like
saying.
someone.
I'm not saying we're totally past that, but like 90%, I would argue we are past that.
Yeah.
Like I'd say sure. There's a tiny bit left that we're like, but ultimately that 90% comes in, and I'm like, I don't care.
Well, in terms of my ability to let go of, or like what would be the same for you, but my ability to let go of the situation if it doesn't go, like I will, in terms of how okay I will be, it's night and day different than what it was in the past. In terms of how I will let
for sure.
like get off my back like water off a duck. It's completely different than what it was in the past. It used to just be like overly affected by these things, and I will cry for at least 5 days, but it used to be a whole month, and that is different.
That's good. That's
a
progress.
That's like a 75% cut.
Hey, you know what? I'm so proud of you.
I appreciate you. You're the best.
Yeah, we've done we've made a lot of progress on that front. Like ultimately, the biggest thing is like, man, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And it's just like straight up in the meantime, continue to be you and let that 90% become 95,
Do
where you're
you silly
playing
goose?
that game less and less. And if you're going to be that silly goose, then you go back to that pond.
Take that in your face and swallow it. I didn't mean that in any other way besides what I said.
Wow. Provocative. That's provocative.
Thoughtified
Provocative.
podcast about aliens, politics, and
Everything
provocative.
else. Provocativity. Provocativity.
Might change the name to something like that. I think that'd be beneficial, if anything.
Provocify. Where
Hey.
we have provocative thought conversations
Is it sticking? I
about
think it's
things.
sticking.
We're changing. We're rebranding for the third time.
Yeah. I don't want to rebrand again.
No, we won't have to.
We
But
won't.
we did have another topic that we were going to talk about, but I know we're getting a little bit into the duration of this episode. So, audience, Keegan, should we leave the audience on a little bit of a cliffhanger?
Hold on. What was the other topic? Let me see.
Don't say it out loud. Certain
we kind
place
of
in
already
Texas.
brought it up. Oh, wait.
Not really.
No, we
No,
got
it
plenty
didn't.
of time. Epic City.
Epic City. We have talked about this previously.
I
and
disagree.
for those, yes, we definitely did. 100%.
No. We talked about it. I disagree with Epic City. I'll say it right now.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But for those that did not listen to that episode and don't know what Epic City is basically a residence and a whole conglomerate where Muslims can work, play, eat, and thoroughly work, play, and eat.
No, but
literally,
hold on. It's just a purely Muslim community, and while
that's
it's
what I'm
technically
getting at. That's what I'm getting
well,
at.
it's from its inception as that's what it is, and apparently there is supposed to be openness and whatnot. But you would expect in a Muslim community for Sharia law to take place, and if Sharia law is allowed to take place as an overbearing or a law in general, with under the laws that are already here in Texas, that's creating a place within a place. And it's, I can't make a Christian neighborhood and then make it like purely based off of like the Christian rules. Like I can't. You're not allowed to do that. So you should not be allowed to. And even though they say it's going to be inclusive and whatnot, yeah, I don't buy that. Why would you state it's going to be a Muslim thing if it's going to be inclusive?
Correct. And going on to that note, when I said work, play, eat, it is a community that is purely inclusive to Islam, to Muslims. So emphasis on Epic City that is designed to be inclusive with no supposed plans to impose Sharia law or restrict residents based on religion. But when you inherently call it a Muslim community, and Epic is basically implying Islam, you're inherently saying it's for Muslims only. And
the
that's
best thing
obviously,
they could have done is just create it, not say it was going to be purely Muslim. The fact that they had to come out and say that is just like the problem. You should have just, if that's what you wanted, you should have just said, hey, we're going to create this and invite a bunch of Muslims to live there. And guess what? You would have gotten what you wanted, almost guaranteed.
right.
There's neighborhoods that are almost strictly Mexican. There's neighborhoods that are almost strictly every ethnicity. I mean, there's Chinatown in New York. Guess who lives in Chinatown? A lot of Chinese people. So it's just like you really could have just done it if you didn't have to come out and say you were going to do it.
Right. Well, I mean, and two, the whole idea behind Epic City, Epic stands for East Plano Islamic Center.
Yeah.
So if you're inherently referring to the fact that it's not, not inclusive, that's inherently a lie. Yeah. Straight up. But there's obviously, with a city like that is, on the basis of everything that one would interpret it to be, that is not gone very well with Greg Abbott and Texas's, governor, attorney general, all that stuff. of which they have, I mean, it's become a huge thing to the point to where, they're not considering, but Texas is halting kind of the progress on the development of said city. So as of May 2025, Epic supposedly remains in the planning phases with no permits filed or construction beginning. Um, but at the same time, if this is allowed, it's almost like a what's next? What domino is going to fall next? They claim it's not going to be imposed by Sharia law. But at the same time, if it's an entire inclusive community built around Islam,
You're building it around Sharia law.
and that is obviously very illegal, not only under Texas's law, but the United States.
Yeah. I don't think it was illegal I don't know if it was legal under the United States. I guess
That
it
goes
is.
against the Constitution is.
Yeah, to implement your own set of laws, but
Yeah.
I just wonder why Texas then had to ban Sharia law, because Texas banned Sharia law based on this, and you would think that if it was already illegal, then we wouldn't need to ban it. And we're going to the internet for the final answer.
And it's, I don't know, what is the, hold on. Because I don't know. I mean, yes, Abbott came out and said just a few months ago, and I quote, this was what, in February, I believe? He said, to be clear, Sharia law is not allowed in Texas, nor are Sharia cities, nor are no go zones, which this project, i.e., Epic City, seems to imply. So, Texas technically has not explicitly banned Sharia law as a standalone legal system, but it has taken legislative and executive actions to restrict the application of foreign or religious law, including Sharia law, which inherently goes against the Constitution.
Yeah.
So,
you can't come here and make your own laws. Not
and it's
America.
just like, and I get it, like Chinatown. You have the different communities, but at the same time, you have to assimilate. Like, why do you need to come to a country? Yes, you have freedom of religion, freedom
Hold on, time out.
expression.
And I don't even go on. You're right. Didn't mean to
Freedom of
interrupt you.
expression, freedom of speech, and all this stuff. Why would you come to a country that allows you to do all this stuff only to create your own little community of a tight nutshell and exclude everyone else? What is the purpose of that?
Can I
To
tell
me,
you?
that's an oxymoron for taking over.
The exact purpose is one of the main goals of Islam is for Islam to become the one world religion. And in order to do that, and this is not attacking Islam, this is a true thing within Islam. It is not a hidden fact. They will tell you about it themselves. Their goal is to go into other countries and have as many kids as possible and outpopulate the people in those countries so they can then institute Islam and Sharia law. That's what they're wanting to do in England. They have whole marches for it. And they want to term countries majority Muslim to make it a one world religion. They want the world to be Islam. And listen, Christians want the world to be Christian. And guess what? If Christians go into another nation and reproduce at mass and create a bunch of other Christians, guess what's going to be the dominant religion in that nation? It's not rocket science, and nor is it a hidden fact that this is what they want. And a lot of religions want. They believe they're right, and they believe it's best for the rest of the world to be where they're at. And I'd say Muslims are the most aggressive about that, like the absolute most aggressive. I mean, there's a clip online of a guy talking to someone he's at a Sharia law protest, and he's like, if it's a majority Muslim country, what are you going to say about Sharia law then? If it's majority Muslims and we all vote for Sharia law, what are you going to say about? We'll see what you say about Sharia law then. And it's like, holy crap! Hearing someone say that out loud is a scary thing. I don't care if that offends anyone or not even a little bit, because that is one of my favorite things to do is watch Christian and Muslim scholars debate. I'm very interested in two people who are extremely convinced they're right. And I will tell you that Sharia law is not something you want.
No. But and this is the interesting thing, claiming the idea that Islam is a religion of love.
Uh, yeah.
I don't
Listen,
know.
there's you can't
Yeah.
hold on. We can't end on that because at the core of it, Islam is mostly a religion of love. Some of the most hospitable, some of the nicest people I've ever met. I remember in college when I had I had a couple friends that lived in these apartments, and I just didn't have many friends at all, or at least a bunch of people I hung out with, and we would hang out all the time. I had friends, but like just not like I didn't have a huge group of friends, and we would hang out, and they would be going to the store or to the store to a restaurant being like, we're gonna go get something to eat. I don't have any money to eat. I was a broken college. And they're like, what do you want? And I'm like, dude, I don't have any money. And they're like, no, we didn't ask you if you had any money. We asked you what you wanted. Like they were the most generous people. They were the nicest people. Malik was one of them, one of the coolest guys ever. I will always respect the heck out of him, love the heck out of him. I've had a very passionate debate in downtown Dallas with some Muslim people versus, in terms of Christianity, ended on very good terms. So, if you want to view it as a religion of love, you can use it as a religion of love. But there are parts of it that other people can very much, and it's very hard to read it and not interpret it as a call to some type of violence against people who don't believe what you believe. And that's kind of the crux of, if there's any type of problem with it, then it's that. And Sharia law is part of that in terms of what happens to an apostate and different things of the sort. So it is in 100% fashion, or for the most part, when people choose to view it that way, a religion of love, and it has some of the nicest, smartest, greatest people that are Muslim. So,
Well, I'm not saying that
not saying that you
I'm
are
not
that.
saying
I'm just
that.
saying that that's the thoughtify
General
stance,
crux.
yeah, on Islam.
Oh man, now I'm getting sent down a rabbit hole of Google and stuff.
What are you googling?
We were talking about mercy killings the other day.
What do you mean?
Remember mercy killings regarding a girl, or instances in the past where individuals that were, of the Muslim faith ended up performing mercy kills on their family, or individuals that were either part of their family, close to their family, so as to not disgrace themselves.
Kind of like samurais.
Yes, they are not samurais though. Which I'm just going down a rabbit hole of Googling mercy killings.
Yeah. Well, we're right at an hour anyways, so
Yeah.
probably a good time to jump off.
I was
I have
about
these,
to jump into a whole different segment.
yeah, I have these freaking little fruit flies that I accidentally let in flying around. They're killing me. But either way, guys, we love all of you, and we hope you enjoyed it. This one was a fun one. A lot of laughs, a lot of good stuff, and you all have an amazing rest of the night. And we'll be clipping this one, putting it out, and just having some try to put some publicity behind it. So y'all help us out with that. Comment, make fun of us, whatever it takes. I don't care. Just interact with the podcast.
Pretty much. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I kind of want to pick this up on next episode because I was about to go down another rabbit hole. So
We'll
keep it at that.
Yes,
all right, guys. Have an awesome week, and we'll catch you on next episode.
Love you guys. See you.